the board I was working on previously is the board below this board, and this board's been had all the caps replaced. The board below it's had all the caps replaced. This board's had the caps replaced. This board's had the caps replaced. This one has two, and even the final board has two. What I haven't replaced is the caps in this one. I put it all back together. She still works, which is good. It means that I didn't mess anything up in the board that I replaced, which is exactly how you want it to be. That's why I put it together and take it apart one board at a time. That way I can isolate any mistakes that I make to a single spot. If I was to take, say, all the boards out and replace everything at once, then I would not know where I made a mistake if I made a mistake. And that's not good. Also, dropping screws down inside this chassis is kind of a pain, because getting to them when they're all the way down there at the bottom is difficult. I'm going to probably edit this video some to try and shorten it up some. So I have a piece of tape here now. I was kind of scratching that up a little bit, and I didn't realize it, but I realize it now. So that's the board that you just watched me change the caps out in. Apparently everything works good in the audio board. I sat there and talked on it for about 15 minutes. I should have filmed it, but I didn't. I got the hopefully the camera's still running. I'll get up there and check it here in a second. It does videos in 15-minute intervals, so if I get to taking longer than 15 minutes on this, I'll probably have to do something. But all these screws are the same, holding the boards down. I really like the way this is built. It's real easy to get to stuff, relatively. Each board is kind of its own module. Like this is the. I'm going to take this. This is the like driver board. It has the frequency outputs for your offsets, the crystals, and it has a like a pre-driver transistor in it. It has a coax, a shielded cable going from here into the final enclosure, and to get that out, you have to take that coax loose, and you can't get it out, but you just got to remember to put the coax to the side, and you can flip this out of the way, sort of. You can put it over here, and this board can come out, except for same thing here. You have a coax here coming from the buffer. I think it comes from the buffer board, but it may not. It may come from somewhere else. But anyway, it attaches right there, and you have to take it loose to take this out too. And that board, on this board, I have replaced. It has one of the only places in this radio that has chips in it, has ICs in it. Is on this board. It has these ICs, then it has one over here that's on a heat sink, and that's, I forget what this board's supposed to be, but I replaced this cap because it had exploded, sort of. It was leaking really badly off the back. And so far, every single one of these gray caps that I've pulled out has been split on the bottom. The gray caps seem to go first in this setup. So I'm going to try and get the board where I can take those caps out. Most of those are 100 microfarad caps. And I'll just go ahead and change them. I'm going to change every electrolytic in this entire radio. With the exception of I have to get the filter caps, which they seem to be fine. The big filter caps over here on the back, they seem to be fine. They're I see no drop in voltages or anything. Let's see if I can get. All right, so this is going to be interesting because I'm going to have to kind of work down in there I don't want to disconnect all this junk because then I have to figure out where everything goes. So that's 100 microfarad, and behind it's something else. So I'm going to take that 100 out, and then I'll take the other one out. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I can get. And there's also a capacitor or two on the back. So we'll change this, and we're going to change this 100 microfarad cap first. If you see me blowing on something, it's because I'm cooling the solder off faster. I have no idea how much of that you can see, but that's how fast you can get a cap out without having a solder sucker and everything. And that one is not too bad. It looks like it's got a little bit of seepage on it, a little greasy looking. But I bet if I tested that, it would be way off. So I'm going to set this to the side and in my little lid here. And see, I don't know if you can see that, but see right here, this is the great thing about whoever designed this set of boards. They put a positive mark on every single cap, so you don't have to really pay attention to. I mean, you need to pay attention where things are going. I knew the negative was going that way, but I have these Panasonic 100 microfarad 50 volts, and that was a 16 volt that came out. We're going to up them to 50 volt. I'm going to set it to the side here, and I'm going to take this other cap out that's going to be hard to get to if I don't. It's 10 microfarad, and we'll take it out next because it's going to be difficult to get to if I don't change it out now. And I've got it nearly loose. I'm going to get a pair of, I'm going to get some needle nose in here. I might need to get my other needle nose. Yeah, my other ones. I have some, these shorter ones tend to get in easier than the longer ones do. And I just take my finger and I press a little bit of pressure, not much, and pop. And remember, the negative was going that way. So that is a 10 microfarad at 16 volt. Change that out. 10 microfarad at 50 volts. I'm upping all of these to 50 volts. I know it's only a 12 volt radio inside, so there's no need for it, but I've heard that the newer capacitors handle variations in voltage less gracefully than the old capacitors did. And if that's true, I'd rather not have to climb back in here and replace something in a few weeks. So we're going to bend that out. Let's get the 100 and run it through. It's difficult to work in a place like this, but to me it's easier than popping every single thing out and redoing it all. That would be a chore and a half, documenting where everything wired to and everything. So let me get my solder, Kester rosin core solder, good stuff. I went through a pound of it this year. I need to buy more. I'm starting to do more work here lately. Try not to get the other wires that are here. Burning wires is a pain. Alright, so I got those two capacitors soldered up. And we'll snip all these leads. so we have this capacitor and this capacitor have been replaced with brand new Panasonic capacitors. That's my mixer crystal there for that, 10 megahertz. I'm going to replace all these little blue ones, the gray one. The black one I replaced the other day, and that's how it was laying, the factory one was. All the ones on top that are too close to the other ones, they laid them over. And it didn't change anything. Even though it was a burn-up capacitor, it didn't change anything. But I tested all these transistors down in here, and they were all good. I thought I had a problem down in here, and I didn't. It was just the capacitors, I think, are a little bit old. But I'm going to pause you. I'm going to change all these capacitors out and bring it back when I'm putting them back together. Alright, so I've unpaused you for this exciting batch of this film here. Let's see where we're at. Where'd my solder go to? Oh, here it is. Yep, so we're on the bottom side of the radio now. These are the boards that are in the bottom side of the radio. And you can see I've replaced this many capacitors right in here. This is the second lid full of capacitors. The first one had 22 capacitors in it. This second one is mostly from the bottom board on the other side and these right here. And then I've got these to replace, and there's some under this lid here. But right now and you can see I'm just working back and forward on these to keep from disconnecting them. I'm doing my best to try and work around the limitation of having a the cable still connected. There we go. All right, and the negative was facing that way, and that is a 4.7 microfarad, and I just threw that in the wrong bin. 4.7 microfarad. We are running through the capacitors today. This is probably the most electrolytics I've replaced in one sitting. I'm sure I'm up to 40 or 50 electrolytics now that I've replaced today. Just in a couple hours here working on this. And usually, you know, you replace a couple of electrolytics and that's the extent of the repairs. It's done. But this thing has so many in it, and the guy I got it from said it sat in a basement, so the moisture got to everything. And it's from the 70s, so it's probably due for a capacitor replacement anyway. So let's see here. Bend those legs over. Go ahead and hit these. And try not to cross your solder into the cross two contacts. These boards are very convenient in that they have a white dotted outline that's the ground bus around the outside of these boards. And so all these shields, which is the black line here, they're going to that ground bus. So alright, now we have that coax reconnected in the correct orientation. Alright. One side's ground, the other side is connection 12 on the circuit. Everything else is connected because I didn't disconnect anything on this board. That just broke loose on me. I'm on the second board. I had to disconnect one coax to flip the board up out of the way. It's got a bunch in it. I've started replacing on this side, working my way down. I got a bunch in here towards the end of the night. This is my second lid of these. That looks like about 30 of them. The last one was 20, so that's over 50 at least. And so I gotta change. Let's see. It's starting to get tired. I'll probably quit here in a minute. But they have a zillion little electrolytics in this thing. And I have a schematic for it, but I'm replacing everything with stuff that's here. I mean, same values. I know the factory issued a thing, a couple of little memos saying different mods to make things better, which is kind of odd, you know, for a factory to issue a mod for a radio. Alright, I'm going to turn you guys off here in just a second. There's no reason to keep filming. I'm going to pause it. This is the radio that I was working on in the video. Well, this is the radio that I'm working on in the video. It's a KLM Multi-2700 2-meter all mode. Got the VFO dial here. Changes 144, 145, 146, 147 on the VFO. Switch to the simplex dial. Everything changes. Offsets work. This is the FM wide, lower sideband, upper sideband, CW, AM. The original mic. Let's see. Kilo November 4 Golf Echo X-ray. I don't know if you can see the meter moving, but it's working. Let's see here. This is my little power meter. Kilo November 4 Golf Echo X-ray. How about at 2 meters? CQ 2 meters, CQ 2 meters. This is Kilo November 4 Golf Echo X-ray. That's it on sideband. Let's switch to FM and I'll show you what it looks like. Let's see if I can get it back in there. It's doing 5 watts, which is low. It's supposed to do 10 watts, but I think the finals are weak. But I have this Mirage amplifier on it, and with the Mirage amplifier on it, it does about 40 watts out with 5 watts in. This cabinet is all rusted here. I painted it all. The faceplate's got some issues. The bezel here is supposed to be black and it's gone away, but everything else was pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with it. It turned out well. I'll probably replace the finals eventually.